Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda.
Hare Krishna. Welcome. Here we are again. Bhagavad-gita, here it is. Bhagavad-gita as it is. Reading the commentary and translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and my name is Labangala Tika. We are in the third chapter, Karma Yoga, and now we are talking about karma, lust and desires, which is a concept that we don't usually, consider in a practical and structured way. It's kind of something that's a little bit off to the side. But here Bhagavad-gita is being very practical and structured, and I'm reading text 39. Avrittang jnanametena jnanino nityaveirena kamarupena kaunteya dushpurena nalena chap. Thus, the wise living entity's pure consciousness becomes covered by his eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied and which burns like fire. Purport: it is said in the Manusmriti that lust cannot be satisfied by any amount of sense enjoyment, just as fire is never extinguished by a constant supply of fuel. Yes. This is very logical. If you have a fire and you pour oil on it, like when we have our yagyas and the special junctions in life, when we have a religious ceremony, we usually do it by lighting a special fire and pouring ghee, and ghee is the oil you get out of butter. If you heat butter up slowly, then the milk solids will rise to the top or stick to the bottom, and then you can filter off the pure ghee, which is a fantastic oil that will stay good forever and is perfectly tasty. And when we make a yagya for Krishna, we use the best oil. So you pour on a little ghee on this wood fire, and you pour on a little more ghee, and the fire blazes, and sometimes it gets very big and loud and brilliant. And then you think you have a big fire, you want to put it out. You do not pour a bucket of ghee on that fire. This will not turn it out. Of course, if you have a tiny little fire and you pour a bucket, maybe if you just extinguish it by the movement of it. But in general, you put fuel on a fire, this will not turn the fire out. So in the material world, the center of all activities is sex. And thus this material world is called Maithunya Agara, or the shackles of sex life. In the ordinary prison house, criminals are kept within bars. Similarly, the criminals who are disobedient to the laws of the Lord are shackled by sex life. Advancement of material civilization on the basis of sense gratification means increasing the duration of the material existence of the living entity. Therefore, this lust is a symbol of ignorance by which the living entity is kept within the material world. While one enjoys sense gratification, it may be that there is some feeling of happiness, but actually that so-called feeling of happiness is the ultimate enemy of the sense enjoyer. So yes, it's very healthy to read Bhagavad-gita, because it challenges our concepts of what is what. This, to me, philosophically, has not been an easy road of acceptance, because I am very happy to be connected to Krishna consciousness. When I came in contact with devotees of Krishna the first time, I was rather young. I was 18 years old, and I've been going through the existential thoughts that took over my whole life. And I came in contact with devotees, and I found a lifestyle and a philosophy that I could apply practically, that covered all of my questions, and that satisfied my heart. And I have never seen anything like that before. But this whole point of controlling the sense enjoyment, controlling the sex life, it was not very difficult in a sense to adopt the lifestyle, but to actually understand and accept philosophically and intellectually the effect of lust and sense gratification on existence, it was a little difficult, because it was a very different concept to what I am used to. And I still sometimes have a hard time bringing these subjects up because they are still a little foreign. I am more attracted to hear about Krishna, how to serve Krishna, than how to avoid lust in the material world. Because of course, if you're attracted to Krishna, naturally you will lose attraction in the material world. And that's very nice. Because when you get to that stage, it stops being a problem. You don't have to think about it. Just like we bring up the poor smokers, we use them as an example all the time. But if somebody is drawn to smoking cigarettes, but in order to go into the house and have dinner and associate with your friends, you have to put your cigarettes out. Nowadays, it used to be you could keep smoking your cigarettes in your restaurant and everywhere, in your home, in your car, everybody smoked. Now they don't do that anymore. So if you want to ride in your car to go someplace, if you want to get on the airplane to go on your holiday, you have to put your cigarette out. And it's not very difficult because you get something better. So you focus on that which is better. And with Krishna consciousness also, we focus on that which is better. We chant Krishna's name, and it gives us a very peaceful and complete satisfaction in the heart. We perform service to Krishna, we connect with Krishna's devotees, we hear about Krishna's pastimes. It's all very wonderful. And then naturally, while we're engaged like that, the material desires, the very strong material desires, they take a bit of a time out. They don't bother us so much. But not everybody comes to Krishna consciousness, how to say, in that natural flow. Some people come with the intelligence first. We understand that. Yes, Krishna is God. Yes, I am his servant. To live this lifestyle, I will have to regulate my life. And sometimes it is difficult. And sometimes it is difficult because we have these habits, we have these senses, and they are very real. And we are very strongly connected through that ahankara, through that identification. And therefore, it is very helpful to understand these things, that they are not just old-fashioned moralistic ideas, but actual forces in this world. Desire is a very strong force. Sex desire especially is a very strong force. And therefore we hear about religions throughout the ages controlling the sex life of people, and nowadays that is not very modern or very popular, and we have certain churches where the priests are celibates, and then people say, so why are they meddling in us regular people? You know, we have our sex life, they know nothing about our sex life. Why are they telling us what to do and what not to do? So Bhagavad-gita, Krishna himself, he's not some random celibate priest. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he knows how this world works. So therefore he can give us this information, and therefore when we take spiritual life seriously, it can be very helpful to understand how these strong energies work. And it is a fact, with desires, you feed your desires and the desire becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. And therefore, in order to be able to take up spiritual life, it is very helpful to regulate our lives. And some specific points we bring up more strongly than others because they are stronger. Sex desire is a very strong desire. Of course, eating is a stronger desire because that you have to do every day, a few times a day. Sex life doesn't have that kind of, you don't have to have that kind of appetite. It won't kill you. If you don't eat, it will actually kill you. Sex, drugs, meat eating also is, I actually don't understand that it's such a strong drive, but apparently it is, because everybody around me, they eat meat, and it is a very big deal apparently to them. But that's easier with the intelligence to say, if I skip that dead animal on my plate, I won't be lacking for tasty food. But I won't have to do something terrible like paying somebody to kill an animal for me. So that's not so difficult. For me, people are different. Then there is gambling. That's also something that creates such an enormous illusion. We're already in the illusion. We think we are this body. We think the pleasure of the senses is equal to happiness. We think that which is connected to my body is what I identify with: my family, my country, my religion. And the others are outsiders. And those that are inside of my group, they are insiders. So these illusions, they are enormous. But some of them have a stronger hold on us. And this karma, this desire, is certainly up there. So we learn about it. And we understand it. And even I can still flinch when I read these heavy words, even if I know that they are true, even if I see them practically. These are strong words, but they are strong for a reason. It is healthy to wake up a little bit from the illusion in this world, so that we can start practicing Krishna consciousness, so we can understand how this material world function, the laws, the mechanics, the forces that we don't see with our eyes. We can see something like gravity. Things fall down. We don't understand it. We really don't understand it, but we can see it. These other laws, we can't see them. Law of karma, we don't see it. It's a very long, slow process that manifests on its own time. But we can study Bhagavad-gita, and we can practice Krishna consciousness, and we can see practically, we can realize practically that when we connect to Krishna by chanting his name, by serving him, by hearing about him, especially in the association of devotees, this fills our hearts with joy. And when we start to become serious about breaking these shackles of the material world to become free again in the spiritual sense, which means to be connected to our spiritual nature, then sometimes we see that these forces of this material world, their pull becomes a little bit stronger, and therefore it's good to have our intelligence. See, here it speaks about the wise living entities, pure consciousness becomes covered. So when we are not covered, we are wise. Jnanam, pure consciousness, full of knowledge. So we have that ability to be full of knowledge, and we have that ability to make choices. But when we start practicing spiritual life, sometimes there are thresholds, different for each individual, when we turn into something that presents a problem, a difficulty. And therefore, we read the Bhagavad-gita for many reasons. Of course, basically we read it because Krishna gave it to us, so it's available to us, so we take advantage. We read it because it's very purifying. We read it because it's very interesting. We read it because it gives us a spiritual level of satisfaction just to touch Krishna's words with our intelligence. But we can also read it in a very practical sense. Krishna is telling Arjuna, his dear devotee, and through Arjuna he is also telling all of us for all the ages about how do you do it, why do you do it, and how do you do it, and where do you get by doing it, this spiritual life, this Krishna consciousness. So yes, understanding karma, understanding lust, understanding why it's a problem, and understanding how it's a problem, and understanding what to do about it. This is an important part in our spiritual life, and therefore we read it, even if it sometimes is a little bit challenging. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for watching. We aim for updates every Tuesday and Friday. Please come back. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down there. We also have some links and information for you. And there is, of course, the subscribe button. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
I'm a Hare Krishna, and I approve this message. Subscribe.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,